And welcome back. It's New Comic Book Day. I hope you all saw my post. I mean, every single one of you saw my post. Not this week, but next week. I will be closed Wednesday through Sunday. I will be in hopefully warm Southern California for the Comics Pro annual meeting. I am a member of Comics Pro. It is the only professional organization for comics retailers in the direct market, which is what I am, what I do. And we represent storefronts and some online retailers, but we're basically comic shop owners. And the hope is that we get together and we find ideas and techniques and processes that can benefit all of us. And we try and share ideas and learn from each other and such. And also just get to hang out with people that do know, experience and do exactly the same things that we do. So it is camaraderie as well. But that is next week, not this week, next week. And I will not be here at all. So, but for now, we still have new comics. Alien versus Captain America. Aquaman, still part of DC's KO. And 2 covers there. Absolute Batman gets, Batman 14 gets a second print. And then Absolute Batman number 15 gets a second print. And 2 covers there. Detective Comics. I don't know what volume it is. It doesn't matter. This collects recent issues of Detective Comics, the Elixir story, I believe. Immortal Legend Batman. That should be the end of that miniseries. Batman and Robin. Black Cat and some glare. That way. There we go. Bleeding Hearts. Another new Vertigo series from DC. I got a handful of covers. The Center Holds, I've been waiting for this, written by Larry Hama, who writes G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, and has for 35 years or whatever it is. And with art by M.D. Bright, who died in recent memory, but I honestly can't remember when, and I'm sorry. But he is... He did some art for G.I. Joe, but he did art for just about everything between Marvel and DC and some other stuff. And it's just, I just really enjoy it. It's a fun style. It's an action superhero kind of style. And it was a great loss to the community when he died. And this was started, of course, before he died. And this will be his last published art. I don't know that they were able to finish the series before he left. But I'm still looking forward to getting into this. So I will let you know how that reads. My assumption is it will fit squarely into my wheelhouse, being Larry Hama and M.D. Bright. There's little chance I won't enjoy it. So. Court Children of the Round Table, that finishes that miniseries. It, of course, is just the beginning of a bigger story, but we will see if DC continues with that or not. Cyclops of the X-Men gets a miniseries. We assume miniseries. Everybody's getting a miniseries. Although these days miniseries could be 10 issues, so we'll have to wait and see. And then we're repackaging Charles Soule's Daredevil run from 2015, I think. So Back in Black, The Dark Art, and Death of Daredevil. And all 3 volumes make up that whole story. And they're just putting them in these smaller format books, which is still not the Marvel Premiere collections. It's confusing. DCKO number 4. And a bunch of covers. And what we get in this one is the DCU Heroes versus the Absolute Heroes? We don't know. And a bunch of covers. Wade Wilson, Deadpool. Deadpool gets a new series, of course, coming out of or following Age of Revelation. And we've got a handful of covers. I'm sideways because I'm a rebel. Die Loaded. Donald Duck. One World Under Doom, that collects the recent miniseries of Doom being in control of everything and then sacrificing himself to save the world, as far as we know. DuckTales Valentine's Day Special. Expanse, A Little Death. That's the end of that miniseries. First Freedom, the story of Opal Lee and Juneteenth. I've actually started reading this. I pretty much got it for me, but I'll enjoy having it on the shelf as well. There are things to be learned in here. I know some of it. I don't know all of it. So this is going to be a fun read. Gargoyles Darkwing Duck continues. Geiger. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. 325th issue of that series, including the introduction of a new character. I think a new character. Might be two. I can't remember. I'm behind on G.I. Joe, so that's on me. Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone. And DC's DC Finest line, Green Arrow, The Trial of Oliver Green. This is the volume after the Longbow Hunters DC Finest Green Arrow. And Green Lantern Corps. Groupies, I got, again, sort of for me. It's a Tula Lotay book. This was originally published digitally, Comixology Originals. And it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and maybe something a little darker, starting in the 80s, I want to say. And it is just glorious to look at. Tula Lotay's art just has made me a huge fan, and there are different styles and different takes, but it's at once super artistic but also photographic. Like it's just, I really enjoyed looking at the art in this book. It doesn't read quite as well as it looks, but it was still a fun thing. So hopefully somebody will jump in, even if it's not just because of Tula Lotay. Hercules. This collects the miniseries, The Monster Hunter. Krypto, The Last Dog of Krypton. Of course, that collects Krypto's 5-issue miniseries. Mark Spector, Moon Knight. Moon Knight gets a new series written by the same guy. So it's like a continuation, but a new number one. Peacemaker Tries Hard gets a paperback collection. Phantom. Punisher. The original Punisher number 1. This is a facsimile edition of that release. And there's a shiny cover version. Rockefellers. Sirens, Love Hurts. Of course, they used to be the Gotham City Sirens, though they're still in Gotham City. So I don't know. And there's a bunch of covers. This is gorgeous. Suzumica. Just stunning. And then another Tula Lotay cover, because I try to get them all. And then a shiny version of Suzumica. Planet She-Hulk. This will be on the shelf. It was not going to be on the shelf before this past week. If you do the math and connect the dots, you'll know why. Snowlands, a new book from Scholastic. It's just kind of pretty. I had bookmarks or something up on the table for a while for this release. So, of course, it's for a younger audience, but I'm curious about it. Space Ghost. Spider-Man Noir. Star Trek Lower Decks. Star Trek Voyager Homecoming. That's the end of that miniseries. Star Wars Jar Jar. Jar Jar gets a one-shot special. Supergirl. And 2 covers there. Superman, whatever happened to the Man of Steel? This is a facsimile edition of the quote-unquote last issue of the original Superman series. This was around Crisis in the mid-'80s. This title just became Adventures of Superman, and then a new Superman #1 could exist after that, because we didn't just do random #1s like we do these days. And then there's a shiny version. Alan Moore wrote that. So, Alan Moore Superman, if you're interested. Widely respected as a story from those days. So, to make it seem like it's weird because it's Alan Moore writing Superman. Yeah, apparently it was extremely good. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And 2 covers there. Thundercats Valentine's Day Special. Transformers. 2 covers. And 3 covers. Fall of Ultraman. Ultraman gets a new miniseries, and it doesn't sound like a good one. Venom. I lose control of my phone. Absolute Wonder Woman Annual. And 2 covers there. Matthias Diulis is the artist on that annual, and I'm excited about that too. World Tree. And Ultimate X-Men. And 2 covers there. So we get close to the end of the Ultimate Universe. And then we got, excuse me, still a little bit of cough. Got some extras. Black Panther, Panther's Prey is what they're calling this omnibus. You can see how chunky it is. Yeah, this one's mine as well. This contains too many things. Jack Kirby's series, and then some crossover-y type stuff, and a couple appearances here and there. The 1985 or 86 Black Panther miniseries. It collects the Marvel Comics Presents story, which was one of the first Marvel Comics Presents stories. There was a Wolverine story, there was a Black Panther story, and then there were rotating stories, and that was for like 10 or 11 issues, the first issues of Marvel Comics Presents. And then a handful of other things where he showed up, I want to say, I can't remember, Fanfare. I'm cheating a little bit as I look. Wow, all the way up to Over the Edge, which was when we started getting crazy in the Marvel Universe, Black Panther was part of the Edge corner of the Marvel Universe. But it also contains the fully painted Panther's Prey miniseries, which was stunning. So well done. But again, just completing my Black Panther library, hopefully. So, again, from Classic Dragonlance, Legends. This one, you saw the first one before the holidays. This one contains Time of the Twins, War of the Twins, Test of the Twins. That's a special order. March from Congressman John Lewis is now available in a single volume, and it was originally 3 volumes, and it's a chunky, that's the hardcover, and that is the paperback. I have the 3 individual volumes, 2 of which I believe are signed by Congressman Lewis. That was a highlight. If you haven't heard me speak of that was a highlight in my comic experience. And March is very well done, extremely well done. And then Transformers Compendiums continue with the UK Transformers stuff, which it's different, but it's the same vibe. Marvel UK published a lot of their own stuff for years, and it just so happens that there was a ton of Transformers stuff. G.I. Joe was Action Force in the UK stuff, but we're going to continue those compendiums as long as we can, because they're just big, gorgeous books. They're a bunch of fun. And then Wonder Woman Silver Age Omnibus Volume 3. Again, that's a special order for a special lady. And that is everything for this week. Again, if you see something you like, let me know. Sooner the better. Subscribers, keep picking up your stuff. I need a couple of you to respond. And I'm going to have to make some hard decisions again. And yes, I will probably get to some sort of document for subscriptions. But I'm slow, and I've got lots of other things going on. So I'm running out of time to do just about anything. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.